Farmers in southern Brazil are feeling the economic brunt of the war in Ukraine. 3 months after Russia's invasion, they're still able to secure fertilizers for their crops, but at very high prices.
Brazil is the world's largest soy producer, and it's the only international giant grain producer that is almost totally dependent on imported fertilizers. 86% of what the country needs comes from abroad, and much of it from Russia and Belarus.
Despite international sanctions against Moscow, Russian ships are still being able to dock at Brazilian ports.
This is not enough for a market as big as Brazil's. The war has complicated the logistics of importing products from that part of the world, generating insecurity among investors. That's why fertilizer prices have skyrocketed.
Last year, each of these bags with 1 ton of fertilizer used to cost $600. Now farmers are paying twice as much for the same amount. Brazil's President Jair Bolsonaro visited Moscow shortly before Vladimir Putin ordered his troops to invade Ukraine. He said Latin America's largest economy would be neutral in the war because business with Russia is fundamental.
Fertilizers are sacred for us.
Bolsonaro's stance has the support of Brazil's powerful agricultural lobby. Even here in Prudentópolis, where 75% of the population is of Ukrainian descent, and he's running for re-election in October.
What's happening in Ukraine is terrible, but Brazil has to think about itself. It cannot get involved because 30% of the fertilizers we import come from Russia and Belarus.
Brazil has announced a 3-decade plan to reduce the country's dependence on imported fertilizers. But experts say it could also take decades before there are any results. Meanwhile, farmers in Brazil are hoping for the war to end. Monica Yanaki of Al Jazeera, Prudentópolis, Brazil.
Shalawam Yashrala Shalawam. Kalalayim, Allahayanawa, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham Rakaha Kodash. The honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who teach one on Ruwell who taught me this truth. Peace and salutation to the Akim, the fellow laborers, the hopeful elect, preaching this truth at risk of their own lives throughout the 4 corners of the earth. To the awkward listen and learning, Shalawam. But yeah, quick, one scripture, Lord willing. But the price of fertilizer, man. You know what I mean? The Most High Yahawashi is visiting this place, man. In the news clip, we saw that a 1 ton bag of fertilizer historically used to cost $600 for a 1 ton bag. Now it's costing $1,200 for those Brazilian farmers, right? And this is coming on the whole world, man, right? The cost of fertilizer is not exclusive to Brazil only. The whole world. Ezekiel 4 verse 16. Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, behold, I will break the staff of bread in Jerusalem. Right, the staff of bread, man. Food source, food chain, agriculture, right? And this is going into Israelites, Israel being a people before a place, right? But Deuteronomy 30 verse 7, cause the plagues to come on thy enemies, roughly paraphrasing, right? These plagues, we're in the midst of plagues being sent forth by the Most High power, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. And they shall eat bread by weight, right? That's rations. You know, we have 2 cans of soup and a head of lettuce. We got to make it last 45 days. And with care, right? So they're going to measure out their food, you know, portion size, and with care, and they shall drink water by measure and with astonishment. Look at this word astonishment is horror, right? This is coming on the whole world. And how do you think Esau Edom is gonna implement his grain of rice? Through the control of resources.
Strong's H 8078. Shemamon.
Right, horror, dismay, appallment. Right, people are gonna be in horror out here, man. Drinking water by measure, eating bread by weight. Verse 17, that they may want bread and water, Everyone gonna want food out here, man. This place is through. Babylon the Great. Babylon is just in the beginning. These be the beginning of sorrows. It's just getting started. And be astonied one with another, right? Astonied mean to be made desolate. And consume away. Consume away. How are they going to consume away? By starving to death, man. For their iniquity, right? For their iniquity, sin upon sin. So 2/3 of our people out here are going to starve to death, man. These heathen nations will starve to death. Right? Famine is a sword. One of the Lord's swords. Famine is a pestilence, a plague. Shalawam.